Greetings, Grandmaster Ra here. And boy, this has been hard to get this video off. I wanted to do it at the lab. They cut off the power to add in more electrical poles. I went to my wife's salon. She's got too many customers, kids running all around. So I'm here in my basic closet at the house where the kids have come home from school and they're running around making all kind of noise. But I was determined to do this video. And the video is brought to you by Darrin Tate, who African super chatted. Today. I think it was today or this morning. After watching the video. So Darrin, if you're there, thank you for the super chat. And let's keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? I try to tell people that the money would be investing in this channel because it's like directly investing in Africa because we're directly here. And because of the exchange rate, which I've talked about, I'll talk about again on another video, the money is worth a lot more. So you're really doing a great thing because what we got here at this channel is something that is unique in the fact that I have been in Africa for over 20 years now living, and I'm not just like, a brother that just came. I'm a black conscious brother from LA who came here with eyes wide open, ready to compare and see what was really going on. Is it true what they say about Africa and all that? And if you know me, I'm a straightforward guy, and thus people have told me I should come down here and do this video. Open up a video. Oh man, now what's that? The neighbor has a lamb. Okay, so we're gonna hear Bah. All right, Moussa, Abdullah, welcome. Yes, Grandmaster. People seem to forget that. Today's subject is how is it living among Africans? And do they really like us? How do we get along with them? And I have did the research on this point, and it's going to be not long, hopefully, but very interesting. So you're black, you got your African plan, and you're deciding on whether you want to come live in Africa. You never lived in Africa. Maybe you don't even really know Africans. You don't know Africans from the continent. You maybe know of some, met some in the U.S., but you're not sure. Who are these strange people that I hear about and read about in the news? They seem like this is energy drink, not soda. Popular drinking around here nowadays. Throughout Kenya, matter of fact. I'm seeing soda everywhere. It really tastes good. But anyway, who are these people? And like I said, I've been living in Kenya for 21 years. But I met Kenyans when I was in the U.S. About 8 years before I came to Kenya. In fact, I had an African girlfriend, and we actually had a kid together in America. Through her, I met many other Africans, Kenyans, mostly, but other Africans also. And they run around in our cities in a very tight-knit group. And they really just basically associate with themselves. They're people they have now, I'm sure, through social media. They know how to get in contact with each other and meet at different locations. So you really want to see them out and about and wandering around, Africans in America. And then you have your different types of Africans, some there that they just want to be assimilated into American culture. They had dreamed about that before they came to America. all that they see on the news, all that they witness in their own eyeballs, all the things they hear about while they're in America, that doesn't deter them from continuing to follow that goal. Because really, when you look back, they say, well, what do I have? What else do I have besides try to be American, try to get my citizenship? And, now, contrary to popular belief, this is very few Africans that believe that. Majority Africans, the vast majority of Africans are like, they are a certain tribe. They're from a certain country. They're very proud of their country, and they're only coming to America because of the exchange rate money. The money is worth a lot more when you exchange it. And we in America, we don't understand that, and especially Black Americans. And we gotta start looking into that, because that's worth a lot of money to you right away. It's like instant. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you retired and you planning on to move to Kenya, just see your income and then triple it. That's right. I said, if you get a retirement check for $1,500 a month, yeah, just pretend like it's $4,500 a month. And that's what would happen to your income if you moved and followed a basic lifestyle in Kenya. If you follow the same lifestyle you had in the U.S. across the board, and you move to an African country, your income would triple. Basically, the worth of the money would triple. And so you can imagine what kind of status you would have once you come here. So naturally, some people take that 3 times and value money and raise themselves up to a higher standard of living in Africa, which is an absolutely correct thing to do. I mean, especially if you're in retirement ages, you're living in a little studio. You want like a 1-bedroom. Well, you don't even want a 1-bedroom, because you see, like, basically your kids are growing, it's just you. But you want nice things, and you want to go do a little traveling, and you don't want to have to worry about where your money's going to come from. Certain bills to pay. Boom, you're there when you move to modern Africa. So not to get off the topic, the main thing here is let's delve into what is the African really like. Is he like us? Talking about blacks in America. Is the African like us? Let's take the African male, okay? Because this goes down to ask about different type of. This adds and breaks down into many other questions, and I want to go through some of them, and I have them here. Let me see. Let me get one. Yeah. So one of the sub questions here would be, is it better to living among Africans in Africa than it is living among blacks in America? Now, I'm going to be cynical, because I'm here and I've been there and I've seen, my research shows, obviously, blacks don't get along well with each other in the United States. So, the immediate answer would pop up into your mind would be, yes, Africans are better to live among than actual blacks. But, I'm not trying to say that I'm like an African from the continent now. Nothing could be further from the truth. I'm a realist. I'm a Black American, whatever the hell that means, in my language, in my manners, in my acting, in my feelings, in my food, in my music. And I ain't about to go change now. And I came here to Kenya when I was 37 years of age. So my culture, who I am, is really rooted deeply into me, and I feel comfortable with that. However, my children, that's a different story. But dealing with the African, I first dealt with Africans in the United States. I first started dealing with Africans in the United. I'm going to have to tell my kids to be quiet because they're outside screaming. When I was in California, and I remember the first African I met, Kadada Mahuru, and he was a bit, he was like a real African, and he was not the normal African that you meet. He was like, he was seriously going to remain his people's people. Although he went on got his citizenship, although he went on and joined the military in America. So but he, as far as I knew, those days when we were really close, he was the African's African. He wanted to eat his food with his hands and these kind of things, which were not the norm for the average African, because the Africans that come mainly to America are those that are coming from the urban side, not the rural side. But this guy was from the rural side, and he was going to remain rural, like a farmer. So he was the first one I met, and then I met others, and then you can start to compare. The first difference between between the blacks and Africans is that there is a language barrier. There is a language issue. So, Kira, tell them to be quiet while I'm online, okay? Because you're talking outside. Don't play out there. Who's that with that plastic bottle? Tyra, stop playing with that plastic bottle. Okay, so is that there's a language issue. So the language issue is a problem, because when you communicate with an African, we have to keep reminding ourselves that English is not his first language. So he has to really interpret what you say. So he may be slow to answer. He may be timid in answering a question. And if we, being in America, we can talk really fast, and we got slang on top of that, and then we got words that they've never even really thought or heard of in their normal British English, and you won't get to know the real person. That's even when you come to Kenya or when you come to Africa. They're gonna be talking to you in a second language, and you're not gonna really be able to understand them at first. You must learn to talk slowly when you have a real important point to make. And don't be afraid to ask the question twice or even 3 times until they get it. So the African, whether you're in his country or he's in your country, he's going to go out of his way to, to agree with you and to, make you comfortable. Or he's going to go out of his way not to hurt your feelings or upset you. Whereas a brother, he ain't got no problem with, F you, mother sucker, and they can take it to the next level in a minute. We can take it to the next level in a minute. And the African is one who is definitely not for that. And this is how he dealt with the white man in Africa. He defeated them in colonization by the numbers. And hey, shut this door. Hey, you, who's that? Anyway, I know you might not be able to hear it, but I'm hearing it. Hey, Kira, shut this bedroom door. Yes, you. So, thank you. So, we wouldn't be able to hold our emotions, where the African will do everything in his part to keep it at a level where it's a friendly atmosphere. And this is how he basically got the white man out of his country. He didn't revert to violence as such, to the point where he gave the whites an excuse to go, wipe them out in their own country. They were very diplomatic, and they had a lot of patience. Black people don't have, Africans have a lot of patience. So the first question is it better living among Africans than black? Okay, they're not that much fun. They don't have so many jokes. They don't play you know, they're not that funny. You know what I'm saying? They ain't practical jokers. You know, if in a regular average conversation compared to us, they'd be quite boring. And they don't click on our jokes either. So that's a whole area where, you know, you got to deal with them. Who is that? Can you tell them kids to be quiet while I'm filming? So, thank you. Yeah. It seems like you tell them not to make noise, and they go right outside the window over here and just start cracking jokes. But that's kids for you. So, you know, what can you do? Africa is got the more youth than anybody else. Kids are everywhere. I can't hardly distinguish mine from somebody else's. But anyway, yeah. So is it better living with them if you want to have a lot of fun? There's nothing like another brother that's got your back to go hang out with. For as the African is concerned, because of the language barrier, you really kind of got this thing like, can you really trust them? But the answer to that question is, of course you can. You know, they get your back just as anybody else. But, you know, I've never seen really an African that gonna jump from a bullet for you. You know, like we would do it for our homie. We take a bullet for him. You know what I'm saying? We are really close homies. If they shoot him, then they got to shoot me too. You know, if it come down to that. But I don't know if it's a code in the streets for where I come from, because I don't know how it is in LA. It was like that. So the African is very conservative. But when it comes to living with them, which I've done, amongst them, I would pick them any day, because they won't turn you in. They won't change on you. They won't flip on you. You know, they can be honest and tell you when they was wrong, or what was like, you know, just like that. And basically, you know, they're there for you. Whereas your own homie can just, you know, poop. You know what I mean? You go they throw your ass in jail, and you'd be lucky if you see him twice. So in a year, or to come see you, and don't ask him to give you some money. Yeah, that just ain't gonna happen. So I would say, yeah, you know, because we'll get into the family issue later. Okay, the next question is, what are the major differences between Africans and Black Americans? What is the major difference? I kind of touched on them a bit just now, but temperament is one of the main differences. We as Black people can be boisterous, loud. We don't mind taking off our clothes. You know, we don't mind, you know, showing out. Where the African is very conservative, very, very, very conservative. I mean, I have known some African women for 15 years, and I've never seen their legs. You know what I'm saying? They don't, you know, they dress a certain way, and that's it. You know what I mean? And, you know, they have high morals, and they can afford to have high morals because, you know, there's no survival mechanism there for them to have to be forced to, you know, have fake breasts, or, you know, wear exotic clothing to get attention, to make money. And whereas, you know, us in America, the Black woman from slavery on up, hey, she has done what she has to do to survive.